DeSantis.
Well, we were the last 2 days monitoring and responding to tropical storm / Hurricane Elsa, kind of toggled back and forth. As these things go, probably as minimal impact as we would have anticipated if we went back 4 or 5 days. There was not any widespread property damage. Unfortunately, there was one reported fatality. It was kind of a freak thing where a tree fell on somebody in a vehicle. And so we're obviously very, very sad to see that. But in terms of any widespread damage, it came. There's some water. There's relatively modest wind, and then it moved through the state. And obviously, the further west it tracked, the less impacts that we saw here, which is something that we were obviously concerned about. We're also working to provide as much relief to the families from the state perspective as we can. So I've ordered all our folks to suspend any type of property tax enforcement. I know Mayor Cava is doing the same for these notices. And my goal is to suspend, waive any law I can under the state of emergency to forestall that. And then we probably will just ask the legislature to remit any of the property tax liability from Champlain Towers South. And so we'll work hard on that, and I think we'll be able to get that done. Also going to meet with some families about any outstanding needs. I think FEMA's been great, the county's been great, we have charitable organizations, Florida DEM has been all hands on deck, but there are things that pop up that maybe people weren't thinking about, so we want to be responsive. And there's been a huge outpouring of charitable interest, not just from some of the organizations that we know, but either other folks are asking me how they can help. So I think we want to channel that in appropriate ways. And then finally, just with yesterday's news, it's very sad. I remember getting the call that said there was a partial collapse of a condo tower, and I didn't see images yet. I was thinking maybe some balconies fell. And then you saw the images on TV when I was en route down here, and I was like, oh man, that looks pretty bad. Then when you got here, the TV didn't do it justice. And so it was a really devastating thing, but we hoped that there would be survivors located. And when we didn't get it initially, it's kind of like really gnawed at you inside. I know it was just absolutely terrible for the families to just not get any information about a survivor being found. It was the best efforts were being employed for sure. And then I remember, I think it was the Saturday after it happened, being out there, more debris was being removed, but then some of the smoke and the fires, and I just had a real bad feeling. It was like in the pit of my stomach, just, man, this is not good. But they kept carrying on. They did all that they can. They did all that they could. But it's been a rough couple of weeks, and I think the waiting and trying to, is there hope? Will we be able to have a miracle? I know it's weighed a lot on the families. It's weighed on the whole community. I know it's weighed on all of us who've been participating in this response. And so yesterday was tough. I appreciated what they did for doing the vigil, but the work's going to go on, and obviously they're going to identify every single person, and we obviously want to do all we can for the survivors and the family members to get them on their feet as best as we possibly can. It is not going to be easy. This is a big void that's going to be felt, not just in these families, but in this community as a whole. But we understand this is not something that, pretty soon there won't be cameras here, but we understand that this is something where the needs are going to continue, and so we want to be there and we want to be helpful for folks.
Thank you, Mr. Governor. Lieutenant Governor Jeanette Nunez.